Seneca's 2,000-year-old cure for overthinking. Seneca's 2,000-year-old cure for overthinking. Intro. Welcome to Overthinking Problem Solution. You're living your problems twice, once in your head and once in reality, and it's absolutely destroying your peace. If you ever lie awake at night, replaying conversations, drowning in a sea of what-ifs, and imagining the worst possible outcomes for tomorrow, then this is for you. This endless mental rehearsal, this state of constant anxious preparation, it's exhausting. It might feel like a fundamental part of who you are, but it's not. It's a survival mechanism that's been kicked into overdrive, and instead of protecting you, it's stealing your life from you, one precious moment at a time. 2,000 years ago, the Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote a letter to a friend that contains maybe the most perfect diagnosis of modern anxiety ever written. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. This isn't just a poetic line, it's the key to the cure. It tells us that most of our suffering is self-inflicted, born from a mind that has learned to fear shadows. But if our mind can create this suffering, it can also uncreate it. In this video, we're going to break down 3 of Seneca's foundational ideas for silencing that noise. This isn't about ignoring reality or pretending problems don't exist. It's a practical, time-tested strategy to break the cycle of overthinking, reclaim your mental space, and stop paying the emotional tax on troubles that may never even arrive. Section 1. The core problem. You're paying for suffering. Twice. Let's get one thing straight about overthinking. It's not productive reflection. It's a circular, anxious loop. You have a problem, or even just the potential for one, and your mind's brilliant response is to run it over and over and over again, as if sheer repetition will somehow solve it. But has it ever actually worked? Has worrying about a difficult conversation ever made the conversation itself any better? Of course not. In fact, it makes things worse. Because now you've doubled your trouble. You experience all the anxiety, stress, and fear in your imagination for hours, days, or even weeks leading up to the event. And then, you still have to live through the actual event itself. You are, in effect, choosing to suffer twice. Seneca saw this as a huge mistake in how we live. He wrote, "What I advise you to do is not to be unhappy before the crisis comes." He noticed our bizarre habit of pulling future fears into the present moment, treating imagined catastrophes as if they were happening right now. The thought, "What if I fail this presentation?" triggers the same fear response in your body as actually failing. Your body doesn't know the difference. The stress is real, even if the event is pure fiction. This cycle isn't your fault. It's a survival instinct gone haywire, a mind trying to protect you from every possible threat. But in our modern world, the threats are rarely a tiger in the grass. More often, they're an unpleasant email, a social judgment, or an uncertain future. The Stoics teach that to fix this, we don't need a new mind. We need a new way of using the one we have. The first step is to install a new way of thinking, a single powerful principle that governs all the rest. Section 2. Principle 1. The Great Divide. Focusing on what you control. The foundational idea of all practical Stoicism, and the ultimate weapon against overthinking, is often called the dichotomy of control. This was most famously articulated by the philosopher Epictetus, but is a theme Seneca also touches on. It's the practice of dividing every situation into 2 simple categories: the things you have control over and the things you absolutely do not. So much of our anxiety is just a product of misclassification, thinking we have control over things that are completely out of our hands. What's outside of your control? Other people's opinions, the outcome of your job application, whether someone texts you back, the traffic, the weather, the past, the future. Overthinking almost exclusively lives in this category. We spin our wheels ruminating on things that are, by their very nature, outside of our command. So, what's within your control? The Stoics argue it's a very short but incredibly powerful list. Your judgments, your values, your actions, and your responses in this present moment. That's it. That is your empire. Think about it. You're worried about an upcoming meeting. You can't control your boss's reaction. You can't control if a colleague will be difficult. You can't control the final outcome. Worrying about those things is like trying to command the wind. But you can control how well you prepare. You can control the effort you put in. You can control your intention to speak calmly and clearly. You can control your character walking into that room. This shift from outcome to process is revolutionary. When you feel your mind spinning, you have to pause and perform this mental sort. Ask yourself, is the thing I'm worrying about right now something I can actually control? If the answer is no, then your job is to consciously withdraw your energy from it. It's not your domain. To worry, there is a waste of your life. Your task is to redirect that energy, all of it, back into the tiny circle of things you do control. This act alone starves anxiety, because anxiety cannot survive when your attention is fully focused on your own actions in the present. This isn't about being passive, it's about being precise. The Stoics argue you should do everything in your power to the best of your ability, and then be at peace with whatever happens, because there was nothing more you could have done. Section 3, Principle 2, the Reality Test, Separating Fact from Fiction. Seneca's core insight is that we suffer in imagination. This means our mind is a powerful storyteller, and left to its own devices, it often writes horror stories. Overthinking is what happens when we mistake these stories for reality. The second cure, therefore, is to become a ruthless fact-checker of your own thoughts. The Stoic practice is simple, but it takes vigilance. When a fearful thought pops into your head, you must stop and ask a critical question. Is this a real problem now, or am I just imagining it? Is this actually happening, or is it just a projection, a shadow in my mind? This single question creates what psychologists call cognitive distance. It puts a little space between you, the thinker, and the thought itself. You are not your thoughts. The thought, I'm going to make a fool of myself, is not a fact. It's a mental event. The thought, everything will fall apart if I make one mistake, is not a prophecy. It's just a catastrophic story your brain is pitching to you. By labeling it as such, a story, a projection, a thought, you strip it of its power. You start seeing your anxious thoughts not as truths, but as proposals from a very creative, but very nervous scriptwriter in your head. And you don't have to approve every script. A practical way to reinforce this is to look at your own track record. Ask yourself, how many things have I been terrified of that never came true? How many catastrophes did I brace for that never actually happened? How many nights did I lie awake with worry, only for things to turn out fine, or at least manageable? Your personal history is filled with evidence that your fears are often liars. Your past resilience is a fact that speaks louder than your imagined future failure. When you start treating your thoughts as hypotheses to be tested against reality, rather than as undeniable truths, the entire landscape of your mind changes. You stop being a passive victim of your thoughts and become an active observer. Living like a Stoic doesn't mean you never feel fear. It means you recognize fear when it shows up, analyze its credentials, and more often than not, dismiss it as an unreliable source. Section 4. Principle 3. The Anchor of Presence, Returning to the Now. Overthinking is an addiction to a fictional future. The only antidote is a radical commitment to the real present. The third cure from Seneca isn't to fight your thoughts, but to redirect your attention so completely that there's no room left for them. As Seneca taught, true happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. This is the active, moment-to-moment practice. When you find yourself lost in a spiral of what-ifs, the goal is to gently but firmly bring your attention back to the immediate physical reality in front of you. Worry simply cannot survive in a focused mind. What does this moment actually require of you? If it's time to eat, then just eat. Focus on the taste of the food, the texture, the act of nourishment. If it's time to walk, then just walk. Feel your feet on the ground, the air on your skin, the sights and sounds around you. If it's time to work, then work. Immerse yourself so fully in the task at hand that the anxious chatter fades into the background. This isn't avoidance, it's clarity. Seneca was a pragmatist. He understood that we sometimes get stuck in deliberation, believing that if we just think a little longer, we'll find the perfect solution. This is an illusion. Overthinking doesn't lead to clarity, it leads to paralysis. This has inspired a modern take on his pragmatic approach, a sort of 80% rule. Get something about 80% right, and then move forward. Action is the enemy of anxiety. Waiting for perfect certainty is just choosing to live in your head forever. Every moment you spend ruminating about an imagined future is a moment of your actual life you have sacrificed. It's a moment you will never, ever get back. Your presence is your anchor. When you feel the storm of overthinking brewing, drop that anchor. Breathe. Ground yourself in what's real, right here, right now. Feel the chair beneath you. Notice 5 things in the room. This simple act is a declaration. I will not suffer in imagination. I will live in reality. CTA. These principles aren't complicated, but they do require practice. They're a form of mental training. If this approach to using ancient wisdom for modern problems resonates with you, and you want to keep exploring these ideas for a calmer, stronger mind, do me a simple favor and hit that subscribe button. It's an invitation to a community of people dedicated to living with more intention and less noise. Conclusion. The cure for overthinking is not to think less. It is to think better. It's to think with purpose and to align your thoughts with reality. Let's quickly recap Seneca's 3 foundational ideas. First, practice the dichotomy of control. Relentlessly focus your energy on what you can influence, your own actions and character, and consciously let go of what you cannot, which includes all outcomes. Second, apply the reality test. When a fearful thought arises, challenge it. Ask if it's a fact or just a story, and use your own track record of resilience as evidence against it. And third, anchor yourself in the present moment. Immerse yourself in the task at hand, because a mind fully engaged in the now has no space for anxious fictions about the future. You're living your problems twice, but you don't have to. The choice is yours in every moment. You can choose the chaotic suffering of imagination, or you can choose the peace of reality. Seneca's wisdom is 2,000 years old, but the power it offers is immediate. It's the power to silence the noise, to reclaim your peace, and to finally stop suffering from wounds that don't exist. It's the power to live your life, just once, but to live it well,